Glory to Jesus Christ. So I'm going to start by saying that I love Christian rock and metal. Holy Name, Bloodlines, Skillet, things like that. I love it. In fact, right now I'm wearing my Bloodlines hoodie, and I'm one of those that tends to wear all black. It's whatever. But recently, a Christian rock and metal artist named Magdalene Rose has had shows canceled by churches, reportedly over her appearance and music style. Now, I don't know if that's actually the reason, but that seems to be what everyone's talking about and what's being reported. Apparently, the music was too heavy. And honestly, this situation says a lot more about us than it does about her, and that raises a bigger question. Is this how Christians are supposed to respond? So let's break it down from a Catholic perspective. I know these are probably Protestant churches that are doing this, but I'm a Catholic, former Protestant turned Catholic, and that's the view I'm going to go with. First, we have to talk about judgment. The church is very clear we're not supposed to judge people based on appearances alone, and that means style, clothing, makeup, or even music genre that doesn't automatically tell you anything about someone's heart or their relationship with God. And this isn't just a vague idea, it's rooted in the gospel itself. Time and time again, Christ goes out of his way to reach people who were misunderstood, judged, or written off by religious society. People looked at externals while he looked at the soul. So when churches cancel someone like Magdalene Rose without even having a conversation first, that starts to look less like discernment and more like rash judgment. I don't know if there was a conversation, but it doesn't sound like there was much of one from what I'm seeing. Second, let's be fair and honest. Churches do have a responsibility. Not every type of music fits every setting. A church isn't a concert venue, and pastors are responsible for protecting the spiritual environment of their communities. So a church can say no to hosting an artist, and that's not the issue. The issue is how and why that decision is made, because here's the tension we have to sit in. Are we rejecting something because it's actually harmful or because it's unfamiliar? Those are not the same thing. And too often, Christians confuse discomfort with discernment. Just because something feels different, intense, or outside our personal taste doesn't mean it's spiritually dangerous. And this matters because of the mission of the church itself. Christianity has never been about staying in a bubble. From the very beginning, the church has stepped into different cultures, different languages, different artistic expressions, not to compromise truth, but to bring truth to people who wouldn't hear it otherwise. And that includes music. For some people, traditional worship music speaks deeply to them. The soft hymns speak deeply to them. For others, it doesn't reach them at all. But heavier or alternative styles, that might be the very thing that opens the door. So if an artist like Magdalene Rose is trying to share a Christian message in a way that reaches people who feel completely disconnected from the church, shouldn't that be taken seriously and deserve consideration and conversation? That leads to the biggest problem in this whole situation. It doesn't look like there was very much dialogue, not very much attempt to understand her intentions or her message or to engage with that. Not much conversation, just cancellation. And from a Catholic perspective, that's where things break down. Because the Christian response isn't supposed to be reactive, it's supposed to be relational. A truly Catholic approach would look like this. Talk first, ask questions, listen carefully, discern wisely, then make a decision. Not cancel first and ask questions later. Because when we skip that process, we risk doing real damage, not just to one artist, but to the credibility of the church's witness. Here's what people on the outside see. They don't see discernment. They see rejection, judgment, and they see a church that pushes people away for not fitting a certain image. And whether that's the intention or not, that's the impact. And that should concern us because the church doesn't exist just for people who are already inside it. It exists for the people who feel like they don't belong yet. So the real issue here isn't just about Magdalene Rose. It's about us. Are we upholding a church that actually welcomes what feels safe and familiar, or one that goes out and meets people where they are? Because at the end of the day, Christianity isn't just about defending truth. It's about living it, and it means holding on to both, truth and charity, not one without the other. Because if we have truth without charity, we become harsh, and if we have charity without truth, we lose direction. But when we hold both together, that's when the church becomes what it's meant to be. So maybe the better question isn't, should she have been canceled? Maybe it's, did we respond in a way that actually reflects Christ?